This is a features and overview of the newly released AiM SW4, or the steering wheel 4. This is an integrated steering wheel data logger. We'll go ahead and power on the unit here. This is a 350 millimeter version. There are several sizes. There's a 270 millimeter, a 280 millimeter that have the smaller form factor, and then a 320 and a 350 millimeter that's the larger form factor, the wider one that you see shown here being the 350 millimeter. It integrates a 5-inch Tft display, as you can see here, and that has a 800 by 480 pixel resolution. There's 8 LEDs here at the top for your shift lights or predictive lap time, and then there's 4 individual, 2 on each side, alarm lights. You can see the array of buttons and rotary knobs here on the display. These are all fully configurable to be the buttons to be momentary, toggle, or time dependent, and you can freely configure the colors. So you can see here, these buttons are always on and always have a specific color. These ones toggle off and on here, so that can command a different function. I have this configured to basically mimic the display controls here. So if we click one of these buttons, you're going to see a separate subset here of lighting that now these buttons function as these here. I'm not using any of the provided button labels here, so you can see a little bit better, and obviously it's just for demonstration purposes. But similarly to all the other TFT dash loggers that AiM produces, you can scroll through and see GPS statistics, some of your counters. You can set a lap marker if you'd like. So here you can see some of the counters on this device, and we can see the GPS statistics. We're indoors, so the satellite reception is still good, but not great. We have system info and then data recall. So if we click OK and we click enter here to enter yesterday's lap, we can click enter again, and you can see this was just a simulated bench test, but we had a max RPM of 6,500 RPM here, and it was 11 seconds and 28 milliseconds of lap time there. So we'll click test and exit that here. We will connect to Ray Studio 3, and you'll see that in a second here. On the screen, we can basically exit, and now we have all of our previous buttons now active. So I'll bring up Ray Studio 3 here in a moment. While we're doing that, you can see that there's 3 rotary knobs here. They have positions 1 through 8. This is configured to have function here showing different displays. So I'll cycle through the display pages here as I go through each function on this rotary knob here. And these also have fully configurable LED colors for each knob. So I'll cycle through all the displays that are configured here, and you'll see in a moment. I will bring up, I'll just minimize this a little bit here on the screen, and we can see the right rotary here now is on position 4, and as I continue, I will move this. There you go, and you can see that. I'll go to position 5 and the display will change. Position 6, the display will change. Position 7 and 8. So you can see how this opens up a wide variety of different logic that you can embed into the actual logger itself. So this particular unit, you can connect a GPS antenna to. It does have onboard memory. There's 4 gigabytes of onboard memory there. It is waterproof. We do have 2 physical buttons you can configure or use to command physical outputs here, and then the 8 virtual buttons here that you can use to basically manipulate the screen itself, activate or deactivate alarms, change the display pages, things like that. But these 2 can command physical devices. There's also 2 trim paddles here, or shift paddles, and you can actually add a clutch paddle as well if you'd like, but those do not communicate with the software itself. These are once again physical switches similar to the previous Formula wheels. So yeah, that's a features and overview of kind of how the device works, some of the let's say the setup parameters of it. I showed how the rotary knobs, you can have different logic here for those. We can even set, let's say, an alarm function here where if this value is exceeding this rotary middle here, we have a math channel set up that I will display in a moment. So 14% here. This is basically a floating alarm. So if it might be difficult to see on the screen here. I'll move it a little bit closer and you can see hopefully. But this value here is 27%. So I will show that in a moment. So this is 27% for that analog channel. So if I move this rotary less than 27, it's going to go red to effectively make that a floating alarm. So you can adjust it between 0 and 100% effectively if you'd like. All of the other display features are very similar to the other MX series of loggers that AiM produces. You can see the form factor here is quite large. This is the largest wheel that they make. There's a curly cord with all of the connections for it to allow you to use this as a steering wheel, obviously, in a racing vehicle. The other things I'll go through, I'll move this to the side and we can actually go through and open a new configuration here. And the way that this is set up in Race Studio 3 is the buttons here are a new page. So you can freely configure everything here within the software, and it works quite nicely to command some virtual and physical things. So feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, definitely post them down in the comments and we'd be happy to answer them. The links below also give, and these cards will allow you to get more information on our website about this product if you're interested. Thanks.